Hey fam, how you be? This round is for the astrological sign of Cancer. I have a lot of cousins who fall under this sign, so if I get a little personal in the way I'm talking, I am. And to get us started, while pre-shuffling, the card that I was getting glimpses of is actually on the bottom of the deck right now before cutting, and that's the Three of Pentacles. So the vibe check on this right now is whatever you're working on with others, because this is a harmonious relationship, right? It's going to be profitable. It's going to come to fruition. Whatever the goals are for the situation, whatever that means for you, it's gonna work out, as intended, whether you make some changes along the way and evolve as you go or not, it's going to work out. You know what I mean? I like to think of it as co-creating with the divine. As long as you're the one at the chisel, I have nothing to complain about, right? So whatever you're working on with others, yeah. Now, let's go ahead and cut the deck together, shall we? Putting it into 3 piles and grabbing the middle and pulling it to the top. What do we have for chapter 1? Is the Ace of Swords. Nice. What am I doing? My hands, I'm fumbling. Okay, chapter 2 is the Two of Swords. First time for everything, huh, Amy? Well, then. Okay. Because the Two of Swords, I like to think of as the Never Again card. So is it the traditional of pain, past pain, keeping you from being able to move forward in this sense? So you're struggling to make decisions, or I think that was a cat, but I don't know. That was a noise for sure. Or have you learned so much and now you have that mental clarity, right? Because it's coming up right after the dang Ace of Swords. Like, we're going through the deck and I didn't just shuffle them. The suit, I mean, not just the deck. So I feel like it's really emphasizing that clarity, that logic. So I feel like it's leaning more toward my preferred meaning of the Two of Swords, which is with this intuition in check. With that crescent moon that's going on in that upper corner, right? That blindfold, yeah, it can mean I can't handle seeing this shit, but I think it means I don't need to. I don't need to be bothered anymore. I know there's turbulent waters behind me. I know that there are going to be difficulties along the way because #life and all that. I don't care. I know I've got this. I know the truth, and I can see through the illusions of this world now. You know what I mean? Like being in touch with that intuition. Either way, you let me know how that resonates for you, which side of the coin, you know what I mean? Chapter 3, though, moving on. We're going to skip a card. Why not? Is the Four of Swords. Fam! This is all dealing with your mind this month. Not that you aren't putting in, hard work. Not even just one, multiple of my cousins are building a homestead. That's a lot of freaking hard, grueling manual labor work. But with the Four of Swords, when I tend to think yeah, I know I need to meditate more when I pull this card. And it's for myself, the battle's done. There's no one left to fight. This person has put their swords up. They're decor now, all medieval or gothic, whichever you prefer. Is that the same, basically? I bet it is for someone. Whatever, move it on. You know what I mean? But you've been through so much and you've learned so much. There's great strength and resiliency. You are a fighter, right? You're a fighter. You defend honor, right? That's what I mean by it. You're more likely to defend others than you are yourself, right? Cancers are so family oriented, right? But it's not time to fight. The battle's done. Any kind of fighting that you needed to do in your life is past tense. right? And recognizing that and don't want it anymore, right? This is a new path. This is a new chapter. We've all been going through so much transformation. Now it's time to just recoup and remember, like if you were a soldier, just for a little story, if you were a soldier and now you're learning how to be a citizen again, how to live, how to enjoy life again, right? And you got to figure out, what are your opinions? What do you like? What do you want? What fulfills you, right? So that you don't get confused and get lost in the sauce between PR marketing firms and people talking, you know what I mean? But if anything were to ever come up, you got that sword right there, right at the bottom there that you can grab. You can handle things accordingly, right? You're not going to react the same way you did when you were younger because you've been there and you've done that, you know? You know how to make it through, you know how to suffer some consequences, and you know how to take one on the chin, right? Just make sure that they're your own consequences and not somebody else's. You really need to just be in tune with yourself. And as long as you're doing that, you're fine. You got it. You're doing the number one thing that you got to do, right? Everything else is sprinkles on a tasty sundae. And then I drew another card, and it's now the 8 of Swords. Fam, these are all swords. And we just skipped through some really particular cards in that suit. Like the conflict of 5, the moving beyond the turbulent waters of 6, the oh goodness, the lies and betrayal and being like, okay, yeah, deuces, fuck off, of 7. That's how I like to interpret it, right? 8, with 8, this is self-isolation. This is closing yourself off from something that is connected with your passions. Red is not only passion, it's your lifeblood, it's your heart. And you felt that you may feel that you needed to isolate yourself away from others, right? Maybe you're comfy there. Maybe it's like you have more control over what's going on in the comfort of your own home, right? You do, though. I get it. 100%. But the thing about it, I have cat hair all over my face. The thing about it is I feel like this person is holding their bonds behind their back. They can drop it at any time. This is all like, there's so much going on in your mind. You are self-isolated in your mind. You can be around people all the time with your jobs and driving around and all that. But you're locked in here, right? So, like I feel with these, with the Ace of Swords, then the 2, and then the 4, but now the 8, like they're so particular. So it's like, I feel like but this card is really taken on that but kind of tone now. So what's going to come up underneath the Ace of Swords is the 4 of Cups. Okay. The 4 of Cups can, keywords for this card can be like apathy. I like to think of the hyper focus that we can have. And coming up under the Ace of Swords on this side of the spread. Because that's like, the aces are like a gift from the divine, right? That's the dang imagery. And the question is usually, do you accept? Are you willing to receive and open yourself up? Do you have room for this in your life? If you want it, if you've prayed, if you've asked for help, have you made room for it? Have you opened yourself up to receive it? If you're the type of person like my cousin to do that pay it forward type of stuff, do you even allow people to do it for you? To be on the receiving end of that? Cat hair, oh my goodness, my nose. Sorry, thank you for your patience. What I tend to think of with the 4 of Cups is hyper focus. I do ABC with my little ducks in a row, and they're cute. And it leads me to XYZ, doing things for, and particularly for, you're like, oh, I'm a nice person though, but I'm a nice person. Then just be a nice person. You don't have to announce it to everyone. Let us make up our minds about that, right? Well, I want to do this. I mean, it's you know, hello McFly, but like, it needs to be genuine. It needs to, because a part of being able to live and accept is opening up yourself to receive the freaking gifts. It's right there. Like I always say that if you're doing affirmations and you're trying to manifest and stuff, don't be so locked in on your ideas. Like, yeah, know what you want and know that you can have it. If you want it, you got it. You already have it. Otherwise, why the heck would you give a rip, right? It's not for you, right? But if you're so hyper focused on particulars, then it turns into the fours, the Four of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, where you're clinging to the idea and you're completely blocking yourself up. You're blocking yourself off from something that's 1,000 times better, right? If the universe and the divine are spirits, the spirits that are trying to help us and enable us, right? Our ancestors, if that's our team and they're here for us and we're the MVP, then why don't we let them play with us? Why don't we let them have their part? And that's that whole, what I was saying with the Three of Pentacles, that co-creating with the divine. Are you able to do your thing with that chisel and trust that your teammates are doing this, doing their parts? It's like the OG freaking Lord of the Rings trilogy, right? It was so good. I'm among those who was like, with the extras, the Hobbit ones. It was like, I mean, the magic that was there. Every single member of that crew brought their A game, and that's why it's so good. You know what I mean? And if there are parts missing, people missing, then it's just going to be different. I'm not saying it's horrible. I don't mean it like that, but it's just, I wasn't so apeshit about it like I was the first trilogy in my 20s. But you know, yes, I still remember lines from Fellowship of the Ring. What's your point? So just, you deserve these gifts just as much as anybody that you love, you feel deserves your love and your care, right? Flip that onto yourself and take care and nurture yourself. Let the divine, who knows you better than any of these motherfuckers you've ever met anyway, thank you, take care of you, provide for you. Whatever the divine and the universe and all that woo-woo, whatever it means for you, whether it's God or your ancestors, all that good, right? Open up and let them help you. There's got to be someone you can trust. You know what I mean? Who can do it just as good as you, if not better, right? That's something that I was realizing is like, what if some of the things that I've been really wanting from other human beings, no human being is really capable of? And that's because I know that I have this team surrounding me and they're the ones who are capable of it. And I'm just confused, you know? And that really fucking changed things for me. Underneath the Two of Swords, we're pulling the Hanged Man. Okay. I like that vibe a bit better though, fam, right? Oh, my calf, what are you doing? Because whereas the Two of Swords is like, no. The Hanged Man is like, well, then there's a pickle I'm finding. This stuff is just, we're just sitting here, eh? Okay, then. And choosing to use that moment of, it may feel stagnant, it may feel like things aren't working in the order or as fast, like they're not happening in the time frame that you're expecting them, especially if you're trying to manifest and stuff, right? But more than likely it's for reasons, and being able to trust that. Being able to trust that, okay, if my mind controls my life, my decisions, and my perspective and all that good, then I put myself here. So whether this is a matter of, you know, basically being in a set of stocks or whatever, your neck and hands, right? Wrists or whatever. But, you know, it's not like they're going to leave you there for the rest of your life. It's just like you get to sit there for a week, just kind of shame, you know? And instead of being like, woe is me, my life fucking sucks. I don't want to. I can't handle it. No. Being like, okay, well, here we are again. How about we think things through? We try to come at it from a different angle. We enable some epiphanies into our life, right? Choosing enlightenment rather than apathy and the struggle and the negativity and negative self-talk. Like, oh, I done fucked up again. Even if you did, You're not dead yet. You know what I mean? Like, you still have options. The battle is freaking done. What are you doing? You know, for someone, not all of y'all. Nah. But under the Four of Swords, we have, man, that was all swords on top. That is so wild still. Well, fam, we found the 3. You, okay, my one cousin in particular is going to feel so called out right now that we found it, fam. This is what's holding you back. This is what it came up underneath the Four of Swords. That's where your battle has been. That's been your battlefield. Your heart. Are most of your scars internal? I used to say that the thing about my heart, like breaking and shattering, being decimated and stuff, is then you got to stitch it back up, right? And that can enable expansion. It can change the size and the shape. And, you know, in the midst of my depression, just trying to find a silver lining, you know, fam? Maybe you can understand that, because with this card, there's a lot of gray in that background, though, right? With the rain and everything. I can hear that song from the OG Crow soundtrack. It can't rain all the time, right? Gray in tarot, or at least with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, tends to be neutral, non-bias. This is old pain that you still haven't processed. You haven't finished. You haven't finished. Which, it's not a slap on the wrist. It's nothing like that. Because honestly, I feel like when it comes to healing, it's with certain things, it's a process, you know, and it's kind of in stages. And this month has been feeling so far, doing these astrological readings for June 2025 has felt like such a checkpoint. You know what I mean? It was like that 2 or 3 months ago, and now I feel like we're at another checkpoint for a lot of people. So my favorite thing about this 3 of Swords, though, is the pairing. You're trying. You're trying. And that's exactly what you need to be doing, okay? You're like, it is enough. The fact that you're trying, you're damn right that's enough, okay? Underneath the 8 of Swords, we are drawing the Ace of Wands. So the way, like, imagine, so like with these two being in front of me, what I'm imagining is just standing there, because there's no swords in front of the person, right? It's just kind of like a horseshoe or like a incomplete circle around them. But it's almost as though like the divine is right in front of you, just like, here you go, a new chapter. And the wands are fire. That's your passion, your courage and strength, right? Is it the page and the king? The page has salamanders on their little tunic like outfit, and the king actually has a salamander, you know, like the Queen of Wands has the black cat because she's the witch of the tarot, and the King of Wands has his little salamander buddy. Salamanders are impervious to fire. You know, we're talking like phoenix energy rising from the ashes. So once again, you have the divine asking you, are you willing to receive? Can you open up and let us just shower you with abundance of the best kind to show you how good it really can be, how good it really can get, right? Whether it's I think we're talking romance. But I think that because you've been so closed off from that has not closed off, but it's stifling your passion, right? That sacral chakra energy and your heart. Sacral and heart are what you really need to heal right now, or what you've been needing to heal. This is not new, but you know that. Because like I said, you are trying. You are trying. And now you have a focal point. Okay? Or at least 2, right? The caboose for this tale is the High Priestess. What did I say? You already know. You already know. This is the height of intuition, right? These towers, you know about Solomon's temple and the columns that were on either side of the entrance? Yeah. I know one of them, I can't remember, is the other knowledge? I know one of them is about truth, right? And that's another thing with swords. Truth and honesty is very important to you. And that's one of the ways that you've been, a word that begins with AB and ends with ED and a little us in between. That like it's really, you've been lied to, you've been betrayed, you've been cheated on, but I feel like it's the betrayal, the lies and betrayal that were worse. Like, it all sucks. Nobody needs this experience, but that is like what, because it really like, you know, okay, it's reminding me of realizing the main component is me. If I'm making these decisions and drawing these people into my life, allowing these people into my life, then how can I trust myself? Can you hear that vehicle? There's a highway not too far from my home. One of those, I say highway because at least here in Washington State, that can have lighted intersections, whereas a freeway is just go, right? Unless it's rush hour. And sometimes you can really tell people did not appreciate that red light, you know? Especially like when it's the middle of the night, like it tends to be when I'm filming. Anyway, moving on. So normally quiet, but I feel like things like that, that was a very particular time, fam. A very particular moment for that loud, obnoxious sound to happen in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? How many of your exes actually turned out to be loud and obnoxious? I'll wait. No, I won't. I'm just kidding. That was bullshit. Anyway, trust yourself. You know that your intuition is spot on in so many ways. I know that growing up, at least here in America, a lot of ideas when it comes to spirituality and stuff like that, or at least like mediumship, psychic abilities, the clairs and all of that, is not using things for your own favor, right? Kind of like the same idea of if you're spiritual, then you shouldn't be rich. You should give up all of your worldly possessions because the material crap, you know? It's a bullshit thing. I like to be cozy too. Like, look at my fuzzy blinkies. So, right? I'm a burrito most nights. Get out of here. But I'm not saying to, you know, go do, would I not say that, or would I say that? You know what, Chicky Mama, human, my fellow human, if you can win the lotto with that shit, why wouldn't you, right? Like, come on, who cares? If you know what I mean? But I mean it in the best of ways, in the ways of not holding yourself back. And if you've got your heart closed off to love, that's also stifling your ability to love yourself. And that is my main concern. Just like that chisel in the Three of Pentacles that we saw in the beginning, I want you to be in charge of your own life. I want you to be in control of this and this, okay? On the bottom, fam, the bottom of the deck to me is like the main gist. Like, we get these particular cards, but the main vibe is another freaking sword, fam. And guess which one? That's the Nine of Swords. These are anxieties, worries, the things that can keep you up at night. But this person is wearing white. Anytime that you see a big old black background like that in the Rider-Waite-Smith, that's like the dark night of the soul, depression, mourning with a U, you know what I mean? And this person's wearing white. That's innocence and purity. For the record, if you wear black, that's protection. Using black like that, like painting your nails, stuff like that, right? Or like, think of the death card with the skeleton that's wearing the black armor, protection. Um, the thing that I want you to remember is when it comes to this stuff, it can be so insidious. And if it's something that's old, that's from when you were younger, your childhood or your 20s, you know, and you're like me, where, you know, that was, you know, a then ago. Um, it can seem like it's a part of you, and you may not even realize the impact it is still having on your mind. The swords of the mind. This is deep, deep in there, affecting you. But like I said, a part of you knows that, but it's really affecting your ability to make decisions. I do feel, however, that you're more, generally speaking, for the community right now, for this community read, I'm feeling more this, like, okay, well, I might as well use this to learn. I might as well use this moment to grow. And at some point, something's going to change and shift and boosh, off to the races. And it's like, well, what if you're already at the races? What if you're already there, fam? You know what I mean? Stop holding yourself back, Cancer fan, okay? If that resonates with you, then please stop holding yourself back. Get out of the way. Move. Get out of the way. Right? But in like the best of ways, with absolute love, okay, fam? Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this helps, at least with some perspective, because you are all up in your head right now. You've got a lot going on. And maybe at times you feel overwhelmed. But someone has isolated themselves and they're trying to use this moment for growth. And just please keep going and really do that work to heal your heart. And remember that you don't need to be perfect to move on. You don't need to be perfect to find true, unconditional love from someone who accepts you for who you are. All right? And is really there for you and becomes a part of your support system. Okay? Even like it could be a friend. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, this cat hair, please. You know what I mean? Like it could be, but you know, because things just don't turn out the way you expect them to, it kind of fucks with you. Like, do you want that or do you want truth? Boosh, I got there eventually, fam. Do you see that? I got there eventually. Hey, high five. 10-5. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I hope this helps with some perspective. Right? You are awesome. You're a whippersnapper. You have an incredible mind. So please stop using it against yourself, okay? Remember who you are and trust yourself because you are worth your own trust, okay? And always remember that I believe in you. Hey.